think Washington did a good job standing pat. They got Brian Orakpo, defensive end out of Texas. I know some of you Cowboys fans, you're going to hate that, but it's what happened. Anyway, nice defensive line they have there now. Haynesworth, Andre Carter, and now they bring in Orakpo. That's been their weakness lately, so they're working to fix that. I like what I see there. They stood pat. They decided not to go get a quarterback. I like that. They need to stick with Campbell until they're sure about him, because it's really hard to be sure with anything about Jason Campbell. They gotta, because Campbell already said, if you guys draft a quarterback, I'm out of here. I'm gonna demand a trade. So they stood pat, and they had a really good guy fall to him in Orakpo. So I like that. Saints got Malcolm Jenkins. Pretty much, I felt like he was the perfect fit for them. I'm sorry. I felt like he might be able to play quarterback. Maybe he won't be able to play cornerback and he'll play safety. Either way, the Saints need help there. They have issues in the secondary overall. So I like this pick from the New Orleans Saints. Just pretty much, I wasn't sure if Jenkins was going to fall to him, but I thought if he does, that's the perfect pick for him. Houston took Brian Cushing. I agree they needed some linebacker help because they don't have too much other than D'Amico Ryans, but I think Ray Malaluga, or however the hell you pronounce his name, is a better player than Brian Cushing. So even though Malaluga is a middle linebacker, why not take him, move him to the outside, because he can probably do that. I don't get it. San Diego, Larry English, defensive end. I don't know what they're going to do with him. I don't know if he's going to play defensive end or outside linebacker, because San Diego runs a 3-4. I can't imagine him playing 3-4 outside linebacker because the Chargers already have Merriman and Phillips, but English really isn't built to play defensive end in a 3-4, so maybe they got some rotation they're going. Maybe they're happy with their team and just want to take depth. I don't know. This is a difficult one for me. I felt like they needed to take Ray Malaluga or Clay Matthews, one of the USC linebackers. Tampa Bay moved up. I think they swapped spots with Cleveland. Cleveland decided to keep moving down. And they must have felt that Denver wanted Josh Freeman. So they moved up, took Josh Freeman. They felt like they wanted their franchise quarterback, so they moved up a little bit to get him. I don't know if Josh Freeman is worth being in the middle of the first round, because that's exactly where he is. He's right in the middle of the first round. He does have some things that I like. I've said several times lately that I really like what I see from Josh Freeman, but I don't know if he's worth going that high. I was thinking if Seattle was in the second round and Josh Freeman was still there, I'd love to go after that, but higher than that I didn't know. But Tampa Bay seemed to like him, and they thought Denver was going to get him, and I personally don't think that. Anyway, Denver picked next. They picked up Robert Ayers, defensive end out of Tennessee. Is Denver moving to a 3-4? I don't think they are, but they might. I know a lot of teams are doing that. Denver might be one of them. Either way, it's a sensible pick. They need some help in the trenches. The defense is just pitiful. And with the first pick, they went running back, so I gotta believe they're going to do everything they can to beef up the defense for the rest of the draft. So, makes sense to me. 19. Philadelphia. I believe they traded up again with Cleveland. Cleveland keeps moving down. It was a weird draft for Cleveland, and I know a lot of my Cleveland friends were just miserable all day. Pick somebody, freaking pick somebody, and nothing. Anyway, I heard a lot of different things about this pick for Philadelphia. Jeremy Maclin, wide receiver out of Missouri. They must have felt Detroit was looking at him, and I don't blame them. It's the Lions we're talking about, but I don't think the Lions were actually going to take him, so I don't know why you bother trading up. The Eagles fans that I know on the message board I go to are livid. They hate this pick. They wanted all kinds of people. Some of them wanted Kenny Britt. Some of them wanted Donald Brown or Knowshon Moreno. Knowshon was way out there, but still, they did not want to get another rookie wide receiver because rookie wide receivers don't learn the system immediately, and Philadelphia doesn't have time. They don't have 3 years for Jeremy Maclin to pan out, so I get that. Dallas fans were livid about Jeremy Maclin going to Philly too because they think he's a monster and he is going to kill him. And I see both sides, but to both you sides, the Eagles fans and the Cowboys fans, the grass is greener on the other side. So you're looking over at Philly and thinking, oh man, they got Jeremy Maclin, he's going to kill us. Philadelphia's over there thinking, man, we got Jeremy Maclin, what the fuck is this? I don't know who's going to be right, but I like Jeremy Maclin. I think he's a good player, but rookie wide receivers, sometimes they don't immediately produce, and Philly needs somebody to produce now. Detroit, 20th pick, took Brandon Pettigrew. I didn't dig this one. I mean, when a team is that bad, you cannot be thinking about tight end. Tight end is a nice thing to have, and it's something you can build on when you have other things, but when your team is as bad as the Detroit Lions team is right now, because they're bad, you can't be thinking about tight end. You got your franchise quarterback now, and he's probably going to have to play his rookie season. You got to keep him upright. So I don't get it. 21, Cleveland. Alex Mack, the center out of California. The Cleveland fans I know put a sledgehammer through their computer with this one. I don't know. I mean, they moved down, they moved down, they moved down. They don't get that much for moving down. I mean, they moved down quite a bit and didn't get that much in return. And then they take a guy who was probably going to go in the very, very late first or the early second. Why not just trade down again while you're at it? They take a center, which is no fun for anybody. So, of course, Browns fans are going to be teed off about that. It was like Eric Mangini was trolling the rest. You know how you have people on YouTube or people on message boards who go onto videos or go into topics and just troll, trying to piss people off? You guys know what I'm talking about? That's like what Eric Mangini was doing all day. That's what I honestly feel. It was weird. I don't know. Minnesota took Percy Harvin. I don't like it. I mean, I think Percy's going to be a solid player. He's definitely a playmaker in one way or another. But I like the Minnesota wide receivers. I think the Minnesota wide receivers are fine. It's just, you know, they couldn't have drafted a quarterback here because there's no quarterback to take. But the problem is not there. The Minnesota has other things to worry about. They have secondary issues. They could have taken Vontae Davis. They have offensive line concerns because their offensive line is getting somewhat old and their right side is a little weak. They could have taken Michael Oher. I don't know. I don't really like this one. I see the upside, but I think they have good wide receivers. Baltimore traded up here with New England to get Michael Oher. I like it. I think they gave up quite a bit to trade up, but I think it was worth it. They need somebody to keep Joe Flacco upright because it's going to be a conservative offense once again. Pick up some offensive line depth. I don't know if he's going to start at right tackle or left tackle or what they're going to do with Jared Gaither, but I like it. And that's all I'm saying. Atlanta picked up Pariah Jerry, the defensive tackle out of Ole Miss. I don't know too much about him, but Atlanta could have, you know, they do have John Abraham on the front lines at defensive end, and they have some decent players on defense, but defense kind of did them in at the end of the season last year, and they didn't have too much at defensive tackle, so I like it. It's solid. I can't say too much about it. Miami. I really like this. I was thinking before the draft, Miami needs a secondary help, but I don't know if they can get it because all the good quarterbacks look like they could be gone. But Vontae Davis fell into their lap, and they scooped right up. I like that a lot because, you know, if they can get a kick-ass secondary in Miami, don't count them out this year. A lot of people are already counting Miami out this year. I don't blame them because their schedule is really hard, but if Vontae Davis pans out immediately, I'm really liking what I see from the Miami Dolphins.